Welcome, welcome to my lovely 5D mystics or my lovely Enlightenment soul age group peeps, or basically the infinite higher human consciousness potential individuals. Anyone who's a creator who believes in humanity. So pure consciousness is 5D, and that's because we unconditionally love, with flaws and imperfections, ourselves and humanity. And we know that there aren't really mistakes as much as there's lack of knowingness and knowledge. So the marriage to the unknown that we hear about within the spirituality community or the holistic middle community, or with the lovely psychoeducators when they talk about people who get to move out of their inner critic, outer critic, and then the compulsive activities that are safety behaviors due to unresolved trauma, which are traumatic memories. So there's a lot of different areas that come to the surface during peak ascension moments, but really in life in general. And so the 5D individual is connected to unconditional love, which is actually, I recently learned the words in the yoga tradition, and it was interesting because I'm like, wow, okay, so all the love cycle people who know we're going to be all right, those people, that's why we don't know of humanity as a mistake, because we look at our timelines, and there's a timeline we follow. I'm not going to talk about that because I only have like 9 more minutes. What I want to talk about is something that I mentioned, because, here's my synchronicity. So I am a mystic, and this is for my mystics, because you guys know, and gals and days, about mysticism and synchronicity, but in a 5D way, which is why there are not energy vampires. There are no dark auras, and whenever the devil card comes out in any of those tarot readings, it's not the devil, because the devil is in the mind's eye, which is in a field of energy, which is in your imagination, which is not tangible. Now, there is a difference for a 5D body type. We talk about these things, again, short time here. So, paid subscription-based model content, or just any episode, or reach out, ask me a question. We have a Q&A, so I'm happy to do one with a Q&A and let you in on my experiences. Of course, I'm not speaking out of my body, even though I can be our naysayer, pseudoscience. It's not BS because 5D mystics know better, but some people who are not in 5D land, it is BS because they don't know what they don't know, because they don't have that relationship to this beautiful field that we are all a part of. And even our lovely Sadhguru has informed us about how it's energy, and just in different million of ways, and we already knew that. But thank you, Sadhguru, for supporting the future. And on that note, so what do I mention? Well, I have been concerned for a long time about the coral reef, because I had watched this horrible documentary, which of course told me the truth about what's happened. Now, while the people who are not in favor of humanity because they criticize our own species, they're usually in their brains, in fact, with criticism. Some people use their brains to create. So they're busy with a focus of, let me see how can I save something. They're very much enamored with the planet. Now, some of them might criticize humanity, but that's side note, because all of us have opinions, again. However, we all have ways that we get, embarking on what we're here to do. So this is what I found out today, and it's thanks to a beautiful 5D Educator website. So they always have, in fact, really great information, like everything that is being created. And that's why there are ways for your algorithm to give you the positive news. It's only if you believe in humanity and not in, let me go find out where the conspiracies of, the doomsday. Did you guys know, gals and days, that there are people who watch the doomsday clock? And I'm like, wow, that's interesting. Why would you every day watch that? You only have 24 hours. Don't you think you could be doing something to actually save the planet? Like, I don't know, with your thoughts and your time. And since you have those days, like, just a thought, right? Food for thought, man, from the butt of a person who's pink tainted glasses and stupid to some people. And it's okay, because I don't know everything. Nobody does. What did I find out? I found out that there's this great entrepreneur, gotta love entrepreneurs, I don't remember his name, but he created, I think it's one of the first coral reef farms. And so I was watching the video, but I got so excited, I said, I need to let my 5D mystics and my 5D Enlightenment soul age group functional adult people know it's gonna be all right. We have people who are doing what they can, and they create businesses instead of sitting and watching the doomsday clock. or complaining about the human species. And maybe, again, they're somebody who's like, I don't like people. But in the meantime, they created this lovely farm. And I got, again, excited because there's a lot of data about what the importance of our coral reef is to the ocean life. Now, we also do have the heat and all that other stuff going on. And that I actually found out that UK is looking into how much is too hot for a human body. And it's in Celsius. I'm not good with Celsius or Fahrenheit, but apparently between 40 and 50. So they're still studying stuff like that. And this is why our sciences are essential. And although I'm not a science major, my master's is actually in the Masters of Arts, International Relations and Diplomacy. So not in the sciences, but I've always appreciated that empirical data, although qualitative, quantitative, you want to look at those numbers because really if they're only interviewing like 100 people, it's 100 people. I actually surveyed 200 and something people for the Inner Growth Mindset book, which is on pause. But the entire first part talks about existentialism, the psychological component of us, and the sociological one. And that's why the Inner Growth Mindset gives you all these lovely little exercises to work with your mindset, which, by the way, if you're actually a functional adult, that means you have an integrated mind or you're working towards it, and a restorative embodied self. So you take ownership of your feelings. And the 2-year-old, we all have the 2-year-old, and we all have charged states. So we take the unresolved situations that are traumatic for some. For others, it's just charged states. And that's where every person knows their journey. So if you're in a love cycle or you're out of a shame cycle, then I'm sure you would love to share something about your story, or we would love to hear about how much unconditional love you have to offer, and the compassion beyond a reason, because you've become the Zen master from the Zen tradition story of Sadhguru, where you know that compassion beyond a reason is what can shatter. What are we shattering? Well, the reality is when we meet each other with compassionate mirrors, and so since a Zen master is a mirror of themselves and not going to react, we stay within our ventral vagal nervous system state, because our integrated mind, which is all hands on deck. So your left, your verbal part of the brain, and your right, your emotional, non-verbal part of the brain, which is also the part that stays with the unknown. So if I get A and B and they contradict each other, the integrated mind does not say, oh my gosh, now that A and B are opposites, so science, spirituality are two opposite ends. One has to be true, not both. Both can't, they cancel each other. So some people, no, they don't cancel. They're subject matter. Let's keep looking into stuff. And really, as long as we have air, we're breathing. I'm breathing right now. You can hear the kids playing. Oh, and water. Water is very important. So again, the exciting news is our coral reef will have some possibility. I'm going to go back to look into if I can support the lovely entrepreneur who is creative enough and interested enough in the earth to not be sitting down watching doomsday clocks and complaining about people, but actually doing something. And then I'm sure there's a lot more people. I don't spotlight all the time, but I do try to share very good information. If you want to know about the video, it is on YouTube, and I think it's the, again, it's Free Think or the Well or the Big Think, but I think it's the Free Think one, even though I don't follow them, I think, so I'll have to double check. But just look up Coral Reef. I think it was posted like 6 years ago, so I'm a little bit behind because, YouTube, there's so much to watch. And as we're closing out, on that note, the videos will only be on YouTube, so you might want to subscribe in case you want the notification stuff to go on. And once we reach the members that I need, we will also do some membership content, because I do enjoy being able to interact with you and to talk about the beautiful spotlights of those who are creatives, because they connect to their left and right. And so the integrated mind means our default mode network is down regulated. So we're not scanning others in the self to think, can I be socially engaged in my ventral vagal state, green light? We can always be engaged, because as long as nobody's chasing us with a weapon, it's okay. And we handle yellow and red, which are people in their defense mode, with compassionate mirrors, so that they can share their adaptive child emotion. We can reassure them, or they thank you for your time. Either way, it's always a pleasure. It's always loving. It's always expansive. Again, we learn from things. That's why we're married to not knowing things, so that we can keep learning and evolving and expanding our consciousness.